So ARFID is probably a lesser known eating disorder because it doesn't typically have much to do about somebody's weight and wanting to control their weight or any type of body image, which a lot of the other types of eating disorders don't either, but this typically doesn't really have anything to do with that. It stands for avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. And a lot of times is rooted in like sensory issues, which you mentioned. So textures or smells, stuff like that, that can just be part of something that somebody has a hard time sitting with or experiencing. So it has nothing to do with, oh, I don't want to eat that, the calories or anything like that. It's that this doesn't feel good to me and I can't tolerate it. Or it can have to do with traumatic experiences. So if you were force-fed things as a child or had any kind of trauma around food, sometimes we can limit our palate in that way to avoid that stuff. You can develop it from, like if you have medical issues, like gastrointestinal issues, you might develop a fear of a lot of foods and you might want to avoid them and restrict them because of that, which all of this stuff is very understandable. Or another way that trauma can create some just like dissatisfaction or just distaste to a lot of foods is if you've had experience of choking or something like vomiting or something with eating a food, you might become just very resistant to it in the future. So that's where a lot of that comes from. I think when people see it, their first inclination is to have this judgment of they're a picky eater. Like that's just a picky eater. And this used to be called selective eating disorder, where it was like these people are only selecting these certain, like they're very selective. And I think the language on that wasn't very truthful, that it has a lot more to do with, I can't tolerate this kind of food and this food is hard for me. All that to say, there's treatment for it and you can work through some of these things. And the person who's experiencing that has to want to engage in that treatment because it's pretty like eating like sometimes pasta, the texture of pasta, people can be really like, I can't tolerate that. For us, we're like, oh, pasta, it's so good. It's so yummy. Or something like yogurt. Yogurt's a big one where people are like, oh, I can't. So for maybe us that like that food, it's like, well, just like learn to eat pasta. But it is such a distressing experience for somebody like that has this eating disorder to eat that food that it might not be worth it to them. So it feels different in their body than we can sometimes understand because just you can't force yourself to experience that.
Right. Because it's not just like, oh, I don't like olives.
Yes.
Like olives are disgusting to me. This is so much bigger than that. Obviously, the foods get so limited to where they can barely go out to eat. And when experiencing food is such an important part to her. And while it's so kind that he'll take her and he's willing to go, sometimes just sitting there and if they're not eating and you're eating in front of them, it just doesn't feel like a fun experience together.
Well, so that's the other part of this. So that's, and again, this is me. I'm not diagnosing this person because I have like this much information about what he's experiencing.
If you're listening on a podcast, Kat held up about 2 inches.
Oh, yeah.
This much
I
information.
just assume everybody's watching on YouTube.
They're not. They're not. I don't know why, but they're not.
I don't know why.
But hey, we're on YouTube if you want to watch us.
Shout out.
Because there's a lot of you listening that are definitely not watching on YouTube. But
yeah,
I don't watch that much stuff on YouTube, so I get it. I mean, sometimes I do, but I listen to podcasts when I'm doing other things and I'm not, I'm walking around them.
Limited information. And I just wanted to give that little spiel because it is an eating disorder that a lot of people don't know about. And it's really easy to have judgment when we don't have all the information. And this is something that I think Corey, our listener, is trying to really walk through with compassion. And so there's 2 things here. If this is an eating disorder, I want to be able to help this person. And we can only control what we can control. And at the end of the day, if this is not distressing enough to this person's life, if he's still able to get the nutrients he needs in his body and live the life that he wants, that he chooses, he might not have a desire to change. And so then you outside of that also have to make a decision of, okay, well, is this something that I can learn to live with or not? And there's not a right or wrong I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there.